Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel Curiosity Rocks, and this video is showing you the artwork that I created during the months of April and May 2018. So this first one is a character from Doctor Who magazine comic, and it's a character that has been in the comic before, but I didn't really know this character before I'd read his new appearance in the comic. And this guy is Count Jadafra, and if you're a fairy, you'll probably like him because he's a tiger man, and he's like really cool and sexy in the comic. So I thought I'd draw I tried to sort of draw a more realistic version of him, less cartoony. So it was a bit tricky though, because I used this paper and to be honest it's not the best texture, but I quite like it, so I tried to make it more fairy and sexy, like what fairies like. So that's Count Jadafra. The next one is a portrait of Chaz Hutton, and he is on Twitter, and he started that if you like replied to his tweet, then he would draw you, and then loads of people replied to his tweet, and then he ended up having to draw loads of people, and then somebody suggested, why don't loads of us all draw Chaz to say thank you for him drawing loads of people. So this is my portrait of Chaz Hutton on Twitter. So, and this is how it came out. Quite enjoyed it, although beards and facial hair on blokes take me a long time, but it's quite fun. So I enjoyed doing this one. I enjoyed doing all my art, obviously. Then this is by comic. In addition, this is number 128 of my comic, and this was around the Commonwealth Games, and it's about Niall Wilson on the rings, because Niall Wilson has got gorgeous eyes, and I was fascinated by his eyes. And this is my favourite event at the Commonwealth, to watch at the Commonwealth Games, especially when they go into the Iron Cross crucifix position, because they look like they're CGI, because they go into it so smoothly, and their legs just calm down, they just go into the position, and it's just really fascinating. So I had to do a comic about it. And then this next comic, this was the week when there were lots of cute things, and it was the Monday of the Queen's documentary with David Attenborough, The Queen's Green Planet. So I drew a little sketch of them in the gardens talking, and then I did a close-up of the Queen's face because she looked really gorgeous and lovely in her lovely outfit. And then also on Emmerdale that evening, Ross was feeding a baby lamb milk. Now, I've recently heard that Ross is leaving Emmerdale. I hope they don't kill him off. I hope he just like goes on the run or something with this Dawn person, and then he can come back. But I'll be excited to see what Mike Parr does next. And then my cat was also being extra gorgeous, so I drew that too. See, that was number 129 of my webcomic. The next piece in this folder is a commission piece I got, and I really enjoyed doing it. I charged £35 for this. Is that £35 for like a profile picture on Twitter? So if you wanted to commission one for a profile picture on Twitter. This is the kind of things you could get for £35. Obviously, if you want a full background with lots of detail, that would cost a lot more, because I hate doing backgrounds and it would take me ages. So I really enjoyed drawing this one. The next pictures, I sort of tried to, inside my brain I was thinking, what's the minimalist art I could do, and how would people perceive it. So this is a picture that just popped in my head, and it's just a rose on a chair, and it was just to give people an image and ask them, what do you think of that? What's that make you think of? There was like no story behind it. I just thought I'll combine two things together, kind of thing. And the next two, we were sort of exploring inking and surrealism, and this Dreamscape 1 and Dreamscape 2. So I've got architecture books, so I like looking in books where there's loads of interiors and architecture. So I found a page that had a corridor with an arch and some staircases. So I added in this tree thing and these banisters and this. So it was quite fun to do that. And then this is another image that came into my head, and it's a guy, and he's like on a theatre stage, but he's like way above all these people, and then he dives through a hole into space, and he's wearing a bike jacket, and that's just another image that came into my head. So, and now we come to my next webcomic number 130, and this is all about this. April, May, I really got into Marvel. So this is how it all started off, and it was all about Benedict Cumberbatch and Tom Holland on the Infinity War press tour, and I just loved them. I thought they're really cute together. And then I watched Deadpool on Netflix, and then I fell in love with Colossus because he's really sweet, and that's how I started getting into Marvel. The next picture is of the 11th Doctor and Clara, and this was a challenge by the Doctor Who comic art Twitter, and it was to interpret a bit of text from one of the Doctor Who storybooks, and this is from the story by Susan Calman, and the passage of text was that Clara she's been tidying up after the kids, and she's got popcorn all stuck in her hair, and then she shakes the popcorn out, and then she's really annoyed and like fed up, so she plops herself down on the sofa, but then the 11th Doctor sees a bit of popcorn on top of her head, so he grabs it and then he puts it in his gob, but then it's all really chewy, and he's trying to chew this popcorn while Clara's trying to rant at him. So that's how I interpreted that. And then we get to webcomic number 131, and this was all about Say Yes to the Dress, because it happened to be on, and we one time, and we watched a few episodes, and then there was like bringing out dresses that, and I was like, yeah, that's right, and then they brought out this dress, and it had like loads of crystals and diamantes on, and then it was white but with a band of crystals round the waist and a band of crystals round the top, and I just thought it was amazing, and I did literally get up off the sofa and start going and start sort of melting all over the place, and then that's a little comics sort of reference there, so that is what it's about. It's about that they have lovely dresses and say yes to the dress and wear bling, but that the only thing is being allowed one human is difficult, because I had loads of crushes at school, and I still had crushes when I was in relationships, and it's about having fluttery, lovely feelings for loads of people at the same time. So that's what that webcomic is about. And then I was like being into Marvel, I was trying to sort of experimented with drawing Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, and Harry in sort of comic book Marvel style, and this is how it came out. This isn't my usual style, so it's not. I don't think it's my best bit, but it was interesting to do. So that's Meghan and Harry. This next one is as I'd started a bit of a thread on Twitter about comparisons between the Doctor Who universe and the Marvel universe, and I thought about this pairing, and it says, I am Groot, and then they have a hug, and she's the tree lady, Jabe, the tree lady from Doctor Who, and Groot's obviously a tree boy, and they have a hug. So I thought, just interested in that idea. And then this was another brief from the Doctor Who comic art Twitter, and it was a section from a River Song audio story by Big Finish, where where Elvis is an auton hiding in a wax museum. So she, after it closes, she's been posing as Nell Gwyn as a wax person. So she goes to the music section where there's Elton John, and this is like a waxwork for Elton John, and she finds the Elvis one, who's not really a waxwork, he's actually an auton in disguise, and she hangs about till he lets go of his facade of being a figure. So that's how I interpreted that. This next one is webcomic number 132, and this is Tina Belcher plus Mabel Pines plus Amethyst from Steven Universe equals Autistic Me, because these three characters are, even though they're not, although we could say it is with Tina, although they're not specifically stated as being autistic, I relate to them a whole lot, and I don't really have anybody like that to relate to on TV when I was a kid. So when watching these characters, I relate to them loads, because I see myself in their characters and their personalities, and it's about how well, there isn't really a character, an autistic, realistic character that presents as female on TV. And there aren't really realistic autistic males on TV either. But I found in these cartoons that these are the personalities that I most relate to as being autistic, like me. So, because you've got Tina, and she has like selective mutism, like the stage fright thing, and then you got Mabel, and she's just awesome. She likes putting things on her face, and then she's like asking boys out, and she gets a bit obsessed with asking boys out. That's me, as well as Tina. Yeah, when it's like Tina, because about the asking boys out and being a bit silly. Then Amethyst is just really funny, and she's fun loving, and she's like shouty, and well, not shouty as in she takes the piss a lot, and she's just really fun. So all them combined makes me. So that's what that comic is about. This next picture is, we had Eurovision, and this is the UK entry Suri. Unfortunately, there was a really mean stage invader, but that meant she gave an amazing performance. We didn't win, but I thought she did amazing. And Natty was the winner with Toy. And to be honest, I wanted Denmark to win because they was like really cool Viking song and it was amazing. Oh yeah, and I quite liked Hungary because that was like metal. So yeah, I did this picture of Suri because she did a video of herself signing, doing British Sign Language to her song Storm, and I thought it was really, really lovely. So I did a portrait of her. Then this next one is after I watched Thor Ragnarok, which is the best Marvel movie ever. So this is about fondling Hulk's beads, and this is about how I got into Marvel, and once I got into Marvel, that's it. I have to like buy books and figures and make it solid in my hands, like, and like I love reading the books and finding out more information. And then there's a bit in Thor Ragnarok where the Hulk's he's actually, well, he's in a hot tub and he gets naked and sees his bottom and there's some reason, and he's got these necklaces. And in my head canon, because the Hulk has been on this planet for 2 years, he's stuck on this planet called Sakaar 2 years. In my head canon, he took up jewelry making and he sells them at the market on Sunday. But in the film, he's wearing the beads, and then when he goes back to being Bruce Banner, the beads and the necklaces massive. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to have like massive necklaces like Bruce Banner's wearing Hulk's necklaces? And then I thought, oh, I like Hulk's butt, and again I I totally shit Thor and Hulk. They are, yeah. And I really love Mark Ruffalo because he's ADHD as well. So this is webcomic number 134, and this is about the app game Cooking Fever, and it's about having to serve people on Cooking Fever, and the more resources and like the shorter prep time, that means you get more customers and they order different shaped food, and that is really difficult to keep up with. So I don't usually like food service games, but Cooking Fever, there's actually like lots of different restaurants you can unlock, so you're not stuck on just the same place, just having to repeat the level. You can swap between different restaurants, and it's really, really fun to play. I am getting quicker at it, so but it would be nice if you could just slow down the customers of it because they're always demanding. Now those are the other ones I've got in this folder. I've got a couple that didn't fit because I trimmed them down from an A3 piece of card, so I didn't trim them to A4 enough. So this one is Tom Holland marrying Chris Pratt, because I saw a bit about Tom Holland at the Infinity War, in the Infinity War press, and one of the things they asked was F, marry, kill, and Tom Holland just came out with it, and he said he'd marry Chris Pratt. So I really wanted to draw it, so I drew it, and then these are their wedding suits. And I've forgotten what this flower, but it means infatuation, and and it has a special meaning, but I've forgotten. And then these are rose petals for the confetti, and they've just married, and so that was really fun to do. And the other one that I've got is this one, and it's the Steven Universe Crystal Gems, but I tried to draw them in a more of a Marvel comic style. So we've got Amethyst, Pearl, and Garnet, and Steven, and the lion. So this is really fun to draw out and colour in, but then I got a bit stuck with how to ink it. I like how these boots came out, but then I didn't really understand where to put the heavier ink lines or that. So it's a bit difficult. So I don't think I've inked it that good, because like I don't want to ink it too much because I don't want to make it too like. Well, anyway, that's a little picture I did. So those are all the artworks I did for April and May 2018. So you can keep up with my art by following my art blog, Autistic Inner Space, at wordpress.com. I shall put a link in the description box, and you can also see art that I do and other little creative ideas if you follow me on Twitter at CuriosityBox. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. Yay!